There'll be a new link.
Okay, there's a new link. For those that are watching, there's a new link. Okay, can we hear Delana? Okay, so there's a new link. Okay. All right.
The link is working.
Thank you. Well done. All right, let's get started. So I have been calling Mayor Phippen for a long time. So I don't know how to address him other than I'm going to call him Mr. Phippen and Mr. Bolos tonight. Is that so that we keep things straight? First of all, we will hear from Mr. Phippen for a 3-minute introduction, and then Mr. Bolos. Okay.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and stand up so anybody who can't see me can. I'm kind of short, so I'm going to do that. I want to tell you about my journey, of how I got here. So back on January 2nd, 2026, I attended my first city council meeting for my wife's business license. And I was so intrigued, I decided it seemed like an interesting process. I'd been HOA president for 10 years before that, so I was kind of in the mode, I guess. And so I began attending and participating in almost all the public meetings since January 2nd, 2026. On October 15th, 2008, I was appointed to the Planning Commission as an alternate by Jimmy Papageorge. During that time, we did a general plan update during 2008, 2009. Because I wanted to ensure everybody knew what was going on in the city, because I wanted to know, and I thought the best way for me to share, because of my technology background, I actually created the city's website and socials so that we could get the word out to people better. Because at the time, I think the only way we got the word out is with paper in the Bona Vista bill, and I'm not sure even people get a paper Bona Vista bill anymore. So we did that. In 2011 is the first time I ran for city council. I didn't even make it past the primary, but it was my first try. In 2013 was my first run for mayor. And I did that because Lee was running unopposed. And I didn't, and I think we all understand we like to have a good election and we get to have choices. So I did that. Also did not win that one. In 2015, I made a second run at city council and I was elected. We updated the general plan in 2015. I skipped the 2017 mayoral race in order to focus on city council because, once I had the job, I wanted to do it for a while. During that time, I formed the Trails and Active Transportation Committee, and we added an active transportation plan to the general plan. I was then subsequently reelected to city council in 2019. In 2021, I was then elected mayor. We updated the general plan in 2022. And currently, as mayor, I have several assignments. A lot of them kind of go outside the city, but it's all a matter of, it's a regional thing. Once you get to this level, you got to get a lot of people involved, even beyond the city. We have a lot of planning commission staff and city council who can take care of things within. 30 seconds. Some of the things I do now are Bona Vista representative on my map. Am I running out of time?
Yeah, you're past 30 seconds less.
I'll make it real fast. I thought I had 3 minutes.
You did.
Oh, okay. WACOG, Housing Subcommittee, Trails Foundation, Wasatch Front Regional Council. I go to the workshops, Regional Growth Committee, Active Transportation Committee, League of Cities and Towns, Housing Subgroup, Edge Communities, Housing Committee, Park Committee, Code Enforcement. 2025, here we are. So give him just as many seconds as I got.
Thank you. Exactly 3 minutes. Okay.
Oh, he was giving me a 10-minute warning?
What's that? We're getting
10-second warning? Yeah. Oh, I thought I was done.
Are we good? I'm going to stay seated so I can speak into the mic. Is that okay?
That's right.
First off, I didn't answer the pizza question, so if you're voting for me and you like pineapple, I love pineapple. If you don't, then I don't like it either. So that's my answer to that. Thanks for being here. It's an honor to be here. It's great to see friends and family and lots of familiar faces and many new ones too. Boyd, thanks for doing this. Appreciate your friendship and your willingness to moderate. And Mayor, it's good to be with you. I was born and raised just down the road in West Haven. I've been blessed to call Farr West home for almost 17 years with my wife Bree. Raised our 5 children here. My parents, who are here tonight too, Paraskevas and Peggy, taught me the values of hard work, humility, and service. My dad served as a sergeant in the U.S. Army during Vietnam and Desert Storm before retiring from Hill Air Force Base, and my mom dedicated her life to teaching junior high math. Throughout my career in executive management, I've learned the value of listening, working together, and doing the right thing, even when it's hard. I grabbed the wrong paper here.
Did I leave
We had-
mine over there?
We had to, I might have yours. We'll find it.
Just tell us from your heart.
I should just read it from my heart, huh? I'm running for mayor because serving others has always been at the heart of my life. I believe in the strength of community and that our different perspectives make us stronger. I want every resident to feel heard, valued, and empowered. I'm not running because I've always had a seat at the table. I'm running because I believe and hope that more people can come and have one with me, no matter their background. As mayor, I'll work to keep residents informed and involved. I'll promote transparency so everyone knows what's happening in our city. I bring a fresh perspective to city government. I have no agenda. I don't have any obligations. I don't owe anyone any favors, just a focus on serving all residents. I'll lead not as a politician, not someone that's been here for a long time. I will lead as a neighbor and a friend, ready to listen, learn, and work hard with all of you. If I have the honor to serve, I'll advocate for thoughtful updates to our general plan, leveraging skilled and seasoned professionals to help with that, while keeping the character of our community intact. I want to preserve the small town values we all love and plan wisely for the future. This is not about political ambition for me, aside from what you may have heard. The other than my time as a county delegate, a state delegate, and a presidential campaign volunteer,
30 seconds.
I've never served the city in any elected position. For me, win or lose, it's about having more people involved, not fewer. It's about having an opportunity to listen to residents and then do what they've asked you to do. It's about public service and love to my neighbors, friends, and community. I'm here to serve, nothing more, nothing less.
Hey, thank you, both of you. Appreciate that very much. Let's start with our first question, and this question will go to Mr. Bolos first, and then Mr. Phippen after that. As the city continues to grow, how will you balance responsible development while preserving the character and quality of life we all love about Farr West? Specifically, what is your position on high-density housing in Farr West? So it's kind of a two-part question, but Mr. Bolos?
Okay. Well, growth is inevitable, as we all know. It's going to happen whether we want it to or not. JD Ranch is an example of that. I believe in responsible, well-planned development that prioritizes mainly, and this is my quality over quantity, and ensures our infrastructure, our roads, our public safety, all of those things can keep pace. I would look to bring more people into that discussion, involving specialists, experts, economic development directors, and of the sort. When it comes to high-density housing, I've been pretty clear. It's all over my website. I think I'm the only candidate that has said this. I specifically would be an advocate for owner-occupied housing efforts versus the high-density apartments that have been approved recently and promoted by the current mayor. I think these large-scale high-density projects change the rural and family-oriented character of Farr West, specifically in and around single-family communities. Farr West Landings is a good example of that. The 300 roughly apartments that have been proposed and have been somewhat adopted by the city planning. We don't have an apartment shortage in Weber County. we have a attainable housing problem in Utah. If you go to the governor's website, it's plastered all over his website. In fact, he just put an updated
30 seconds.
position on that. It's called priority tactic number 6. He just put that on October 1st. Incentivize local governments to implement zoning reforms to offer priority to cities that are implementing starter homes, station plans, missing middle homes, and condominiums. There's no mention in priority, in fact, in the top 20 priorities of apartments. So that's my position on high density. Thanks, Boyd.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to, I was going to read the preface or the purpose statement to the general plan, but I want to defend myself a little bit. We have not approved any apartments. It's in a proposal that we're still in negotiations over. And if there are apartments in that development, it's because it's part of the whole development. It has to do with economic development, or it's a shopping area. That's part of it, bringing in the homes and all that. So it's still a proposal. It has not been approved, and I never said I was for them at all. In fact, if anybody knows me, I'm not. So I'm going to read the purpose statement for the general plan real quick. The general plan of the Far West City is a policy document meant to provide for the present and future needs of the city. It is to guide growth and development within the city and to provide a broader context when looking to specifics regarding future land use development and consideration of general health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of Far West. It is to express the goals of the city. It's a guide to assist community decisions, decision makers, including the mayor, city council, and planning commission. Utah State Code requires each municipality to prepare and adopt a comprehensive long-range general plan, present future needs of the municipality. It is largely conceived and created by the Planning Commission and the City Council. It is ultimately long-term support, success, and must come from the community as a whole. So that's a very important statement in the general plan that we've been a part of for many years. How much time do I got left? 30 seconds. I wanted to quickly read the fact that we are also required in that to have a moderate income housing element. In that, in chapter 8, we have to do these reports. We recently got a report from the last report we submitted to the state, and we comply with it to the point to where the city has met the requirements of 10.9.408, and we are also eligible for priority consideration for funds, for transportation commission funds and those types of things. So that's one of the reasons why we have to consider certain types of housing, is to ensure that we get funding for a lot of other things. We can't just ignore it. So that's a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're still having people texting me asking about sound. So if there are people out there that are looking for sound, there's a new link. So text them, help them. Bob Lind was one of those, if anybody has Bob Lind's number. So, all right. Question number 2, and this one will start with Mr. Phippen. What do you believe is the biggest long-term challenge facing facing Far West over the next 10 years, and how do you propose to help it?
Okay, as far as the biggest challenge over the next 10 years is, I'm going to say, everybody knows this, it's infrastructure. Infrastructure has to do with stormwater, it has to do with sewers, it has to do with roads. We have a lot of obstacles in the way. We have I-15, we have the Willard Canal, we have highways that are not ours to maintain. We got to get over them, under them, through them, whatever we got to do in order to connect our whole community. We're kind of parceled out in different sections because of those things. And it's going to take a little bit to get that infrastructure in place. And so hopefully we're doing the right things in order to gain the funding we need, the priorities we need in order to achieve those goals of creating the infrastructure we need for our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Just a response to his first answer. Anyone that was here at the open house and the public hearing for the Far West Landing, at least I felt that way. I felt like the mayor defended that plan. There was no opposition to that plan. There were several in the audience that questioned the apartments. Justin, you were one of them. And there was not much opposition from city leadership to oppose the developers' ideas. So just a thought on that I had. I think the biggest long-term challenge, I agree with the mayor on this, is the significant growth, the continued growth that's coming, the growth that's the growth from neighboring cities that's impacting our infrastructure. But the growth in itself isn't the problem. I think the unplanned growth could be, and I'm not throwing any stones there. I just think that's something to be aware of. We have to ensure that development happens responsibly in alignment with our general plan, like the mayor mentioned, infrastructure capacity and long-term vision.
1 minute.
1 minute? That means traffic, especially along 2700 North and 2000, it's a daily frustration for many, myself included. I live on that road. I've spoken with Darren Fristrup, the project manager for UDOT. I just had a conversation with him, and he said this, and I think this is important. He said it's absolutely critical that as a city, we prioritize stronger partnerships with UDOT and Weber County to accelerate improvements and explore realistic solutions. Now, I'm not saying that's not happening. When I asked the question about a month ago, the response I had was we meet with UDOT on a quarterly basis. Quarterly basis does not seem like accelerated and urgent partnerships with UDOT, and I would try to do that. Thanks, Boyd.
Thank you. All right, next question. We will start with Mr. Bullis on this. City leadership often includes making difficult decisions, and everyone will not be happy with what is said or done. How will you work with those who do not share your views to find common ground and move the city forward?
That's a good question, and I've experienced that in the campaign. Not everyone agrees with what I might share or what I say, and not everyone believes what you say either. And that's something that I've had to learn in this process. You can say something, you can try to prove it, you can try to show it, but sometimes, if you don't want to believe the person, I guess you don't have to. But leadership starts, I think, Boyd, with listening. One of the most important lessons I've learned throughout my whole life in the private sector experience and in my private life is that having a humility and a willingness to listen to all sides, listening especially maybe to opposing views, people that don't think or believe the way I think. I think that's important to find balance and find lasting solutions. I believe strong leadership isn't about having all the answers either. I don't purport to be, and nor do I want to be the smartest person in the room. But good leadership.
1 minute.
Good leadership includes getting the smartest people in the room, bringing more people to the conversation, enlisting people in the city and the community with the business leaders and people around us, people that know what they're doing. Get them to the conversation to have them help us with those proposals, with the projects, the developments, the rezone discussions, all of those things. Let's have those experts in that room and have that discussion to help our planning commission in that process.
Thank you.
Okay, city leadership. Well, city leadership, it starts with agreeing that we love our community. And I believe we all do. That's why we're all here. And then we have frank and honest discussions about the greater good for all. So you continue to have those discussions with each other. You don't point fingers, you don't throw tomatoes, you don't do any of those kinds of things. You just go, what do we need to do in order to get to a common place? We all want to be at that common place. We all love our community. We like where we live, obviously, and that's why we're here. So that's where the leadership comes in, is to, as Dave was saying, leadership and listening. Absolutely, you got to listen. Listen to everybody and be open-minded about what anybody has to say about anything. And actually try to empathize and go, okay, I think I can see that. So that's the only way to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's go. I'm going to ask Mr. Pippin this one first. How do you present to deal with current state level decisions and efforts currently contribute to Far West zoning and development choices? And I think I'm just defining that as how is the legislative process in the state affecting communities?
So yeah, the legislature is doing all kinds of interesting things for us. It all comes down to they're making decisions. There's lots of folks up there that have reasons why they're making the decisions they are, and they're making the rules. They've actually had several House bills and Senate bills over the last few years that would actually take away basically the authority of the city to decide zoning for their city. they call it zoning by right. So they're basically saying, you can zone however you want to, builders can come in and do whatever they want to, because they're saying that the cities are getting in the way of them being able to accomplish whatever it is they're trying to accomplish. So, by doing that, and so what I do and what I have been doing is on these legislative policy committees with the League of Cities and Towns, we're actually pushing back a lot. So working with Cam and all those guys at the League of Cities and Towns, they meet with the legislators. They are our advocate on the Hill. And we've been able to push back and actually turn them from beating us up on getting these things done, or that we're supposedly not doing, and actually partnering with us in order to achieve the right goals. So, and actually incentivizing us to do the things that I think we all want to do, and that's to improve life in Utah and to provide housing for whoever needs it, wherever they need it. So we're pushing back. We're getting away from the sticks and more towards the carrots. And that's going to happen in what they call MIH 2.0. So that's hopefully the future, less of penalizing us and trying to fine us or take away our funding, because that's how they have been going at it, is we're going to take your funding, we're going to fine you $250 a day for a year, which will cost the city $90,000. So we have to fight back in other ways. So I believe that's where I've been coming in handy, as I go to those meetings, I talk to those people, and they know exactly how we feel in Far West. Every time we have a question on something, I always let us decide for ourselves. Don't tell us what to do, because we will decide what we want in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bowles.
Yeah, I'll speak maybe just specific. I wrote a few codes down. I shared this before. The current state-led initiatives is respect to state code at 1727A 531, discusses the state's moderate income housing. Specifically that 10.9A, the mayor helped me understand this one, 10.9A 403, describing moderate income housing strategies. And as we participate in those strategies in the city to now be able to take part in the incentives that the mayor just spoke about. So I hope, and I think I've heard the mayor say today, that regarding let's just talk about Far West Landing again. That's the 300 apartments being proposed by that developer. It sounds like to me that he's in agreement with me. We should push back on that development and try to get that developer to agree to change those to moderate income, affordable housing for owner occupants. When I spoke with the developer when he was here, he told me one of the reasons why they were proposing those was because the large tenant, the anchor tenant that we can't name, is wanting those. He told me that. And so I realized that. And is there some fear that maybe we're going to lose the developer because we push back on that? Because it's not a requirement in the state. The state is not requiring us to put those apartments in. I would like maybe a commitment, or maybe in a discussion, maybe that's a better word for it, to go back and let's have that. That's good.
30 seconds. Okay.
Sorry, am I out of time?
You have 30 seconds.
Oh. I just end with, and the reason my position is so strong on that, I've been saying this a lot out there. Again, a $2,500 apartment will not do anything to help my kids buy a house or your kids. And that's what we're proposing to put in here, or that's what the developer's proposing, and that's what we're allowing if we allow that to go through. Let's give them an opportunity to own something in Far West that's attainable, because they can't afford my house, they can't afford yours, but they could afford a $500,000 townhome, and that gets them in Far West.
Thank you. Okay. This one, as Far West is developing in major development phases, and that's kind of what we have. We only have a few pockets left in the city of development available. How will you address these properties being developed? And we've kind of talked about this a little bit here, but along with that, how can citizens know that you will put Far West first, Mr.
Well, I think my record has shown that I always put Far West first, and I always have.
Mr. Bowles first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Is it
Looked
me?
at me.
I looked at you, sorry.
Yeah, and I guess we're going to continue to see that. It's happening in neighboring cities too. I don't think Far West it's not unique to Far West, certainly. Seems like we bear the burden of it because we're right here where everyone feeds, but But I do believe it's essential that leadership actively engages every step. And I will do that as a mayor. I'll jump into those conversations. I will be present. I'll be visible. I'll be hands-on with just this week. By myself, I went to the Legends development that just broke ground and just walked around and looked, and not for any other reason, just to be able to understand the landscape a little better, what that's doing to our city, what that's going to look like, how that's going to feed into our city. I'll also connect with experienced professionals. I led with this in my opening statement. Experts in planning. I met with Stephanie Russell at Weber County. She's the economic director for Weber County. She's awesome.
1 minute.
And I met with her, and I came out of that hour-and-a-half meeting. I learned more in that hour-and-a-half meeting than I did in maybe 3 of my classes at the university. And being able to tap into people like that are in our community that will help us have a long-term vision to protect the resources we have. The mayor mentioned it. We don't have a lot of land left in Far West to develop. Let's protect it and let's develop it wisely.
Thank you.
Okay, actually, yeah, I know Stephanie quite well as well. We've worked together on quite a few different things about economic development. She taught me about PIDs and all that other stuff. And as a matter of fact, our economic development advisor, his name is Doug Larson. He actually trained her. So she took over his position, and now he's helping us. He's also helping other cities. He's an awesome guy. He knows his way through these things up and down. We also have really good advice from our legal, Liam Keel from Weber County. He really knows his stuff. So we do have some really good professionals. We also have a very good planning commission that works really hard. They have work sessions, they work through stuff, they go to training, and they look through all of this, and they make a lot of decisions based on not only what the code reads, but what advice comes in for those kinds of things. And that's what we need to continue to do. There's only so much we can do, but we need to be able to decide what we do in our community for ourselves, and we can do that by way of using all of the folks that we have. We have, like I said, planning, staff, city council. All of them are excellent people, and they know exactly where to take us. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the answers. Good answers from both of you. Appreciate that. Next question. This will go to Mr. Phippen first. One of the questions we've been asked a lot is describe your leadership styles. You know, there's some distinction between leadership styles. So describe your leadership style. And then the second part of that is, given your background, why are you qualified to lead as the Far West City Mayor?
Okay, well, my leadership style is basically, I was basically a working bee for my whole life, my career out at the rocket factory. One thing I really appreciate is when I had leadership, management, whatever, that trusted me to do my job. I knew how to do my job, and the more they trusted me, the better I did. So that's what I do, is I trust my people. I trust my planning commission. I trust my staff. I trust my city council. I trust my advisors. I know that they're going to give me good advice on all this stuff, and let them do it. I'm not going to tell them how to think or tell them where to go on these things. That's my leadership style, is trust in my people and let them do the job that they know how to do. And if they need me for something, they know where to find me. I'm always right here. Trust me, they're always like, you're here again? I'm here all the time. So thank you.
Yep. Yeah, and I would echo that. He's everything that he said. I'd add to that maybe a little bit, listening, and really trying to understand, listening to the individual, not just to those that agree with me, but to people's differing opinions, differing outlooks, differing ideas. I would do want to, as a mayor, I would ensure to try to have a clear view into city leadership, city decisions, open and try to explore new ways to do that. I have some ideas. I think we're going to be asked about that at some point, so I'll hold off on that. But I believe in building bridges, and everyone's seen that on my website and my material. Promising to lead with integrity, transparency. Again, leadership has never been about a title for me. It's always been about who I can help, who I can serve, how I can help that person.
1 minute.
1 minute. And that means putting residents first at every opportunity. True leadership is measured by not how much you give, but not by how much you take. Is that the saying? But by how much you give. And I'm committed to doing that. I'll work within and try to build unity, share values, common values, fairness, and decisions that take place in Far West, and overall trying to be a help, trying to be a voice for people when there's a need.
Thank you. All right, let's keep moving. This one will go to Mr. Bowles first. How will you specifically improve public trust, and what will you do to improve transparency and communication between city government and our residents?
Yeah, this is a big one for me. I think public trust begins with a presence, with being available, being visible. One of the things I've heard most often as I've campaigned, as I've been meeting lots of new people in the city, is oftentimes they've shared with me that they don't feel informed or included. Now, that is not an attack, I promise, but that's what they feel. That's what they think. Many residents find out, about decisions after the fact or with very little notice, and maybe I have an idea or what we can do about that. The mayor talked about his bringing Facebook and communicating. And I think he's done a really good job of that, by the way. But the problem is, and the fact is, that only about 8% of our city receives messages on Facebook. And that's not me making that up. That's Jared Hell's company, the Penny app. I reached out and he gave me some data.
1 minute.
A good message from Far West is received by about 8 to 10%. So think about that for a minute. If only 10% of our city is receiving those pushes, those notices, that information that's coming from Facebook, which is a great addition, but that just means 80 to 90% of our city doesn't receive it. So what can we do different? What can we do in addition to that? There's ideas I have to adopt some technology, to move to some different applications. But I think that needs to be addressed, because there is a need for that. And the mayor has admitted that at some level when we've discussed. We'd love to get more people involved. We'd love to get more people at the meetings. We'd love to have more people hear what's going on. I would like to try to do that.
Thank you.
Okay, as far as getting people involved and communicating and all that, we have been trying for years to try to get the word out. Yes, socials is one way to get it out there. Used to be paper was another way to get out there. We also have a source where we can, if people subscribe, we can send them an email with updates. And there's also the other thing where there is a certain responsibility for people to subscribe to, like, meeting notices and go to the site and find these things out. I mean, otherwise I got to get one of those big station wagons with big speakers on it. We can drive down the streets and start yelling, hey, this is the things that are going on, and I posted that once, that is this the only way to get the word out? But not everybody's going to hear that either. Not everybody's going to get it along the same lines of things. You can put things on bulletin boards. We've given up on the newspaper. We used to have to put things in the newspaper, but there really isn't such a thing anymore. And things are changing, and we got to keep up with it. But there are applications out there that we can push things out there, but we also need to be careful about over communicating. When you start getting too many messages, don't you sometimes start ignoring them? Because it's like, it's another one. It's another one. That kind of stuff happens. So you got to figure out the right balance and really and people need to be engaged, and they really need to care, and they need to also come and find out the information. And all we can do is try to put it out there as much as possible, but you also have to read it, engage with it, and be a part of it. So it's a two-way street on communication. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, next question. We're going to get into let's get into some tax stuff. How's that? Okay. What will your approach be to budgeting and prioritizing city spending? Along with this, how will you make sure taxpayer money is best used responsibly? Mr. Pippin.
Is that for me?
Yep.
Okay, I've had this thought. There's 4 things I like to say about financial type things and whether we do things and pay for things and all that kind of stuff. There's 4 things. The first thing is it necessary? Number 2 is, can we afford it? And number 3 is, can we get funding through grants and other types of things? So it's like, you kind of go, those are the priorities. Can we afford it? Do we need it? And all that. And of course, number 4 is ask number 1 again. Do we need it? And so that's how you really find out what your priorities are. Part of budgeting, they say a lot in the budgeting process, is it's what your values are. If your budget will reflect what your values are. So as a city, we need to all come together and decide what our values are, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bolus?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be much the same that I've had the opportunity to oversee and be managed within very complex budgets in my career. We've managed portfolios in excess of 500 million in value, and have managed within those confines with very large employee bases. I've been responsible to administer and process the incentive compensation plans for employees. So, I mean, a lot of that would be similar. My approach to budgeting, prioritizing city spending, of course, would be grounded in full transparency, careful planning with thoughtful input from city community leaders and the community itself. And also want to make sure that this is clear, that this isn't just a me thing. It's not just a mayor thing. That is being done in conjunction with communication efforts with our city council, their elected officials, and with other leaders of the city that help to prioritize and set those budgets and make sure that every dollar is accounted for and being adhered to. But I think it's about real people and their needs as well, and this is important to me. Regular communications and opportunities for residents to have and provide input where that money is being used and how it's being spent. Ensuring taxpayer money is used responsibly, I would advocate for clear accounting measures with their input.
Thank you. All right, then as a follow-up question to this, would you support a tax increase if it means improving infrastructure or public safety?
Me first?
Yeah.
I don't want to go first. Am I in favor of raising taxes? I get that question first.
If it means improving infrastructure and public
Yeah, no, that's a good question, and it's a sincere one. It's one that does need to be discussed. I think we just went through that, didn't we, with the
similar. I mean,
a similar. I mean, not a tax, but it was called something different. It is an addition that we pay. But if there's a need there, and of course, if that is being earmarked for that specific reason, and it's going to improve our roads, it's going to give us an opportunity to improve our let's just use 2700 as an example. I mean, I don't think anybody in the city would complain if we came to them with a proposal that UDOT was going to assist with in that interchange and in that intersection. I know that's a down the road thing, but I think everyone would agree with that. It's a needed thing, and it blesses all of our lives. So you want a straight answer? Yes, I would, if it was well intended with input and making sure the city was on board with it before we ever move forward with anything.
Thank you.
My question would be, not if I'm in favor of raising taxes, are you folks in favor of raising your taxes? One thing I want to point out here, when it comes to a budget, a city's budget, we have to have revenue in order to operate. And they call it the 3 legs of a budget. There are 3 legs that take care of things. There's sales tax, there's property tax, and there's fees. Fees are for very specific things. For example, your garbage. So you pay fees in order to have your garbage collected. No matter how much garbage you collect, you still have to pay the fee for the garbage. Sales tax, that one is really good for the city, but the problem with just sales tax is that can do a lot of this. If people quit spending money, we no longer get that revenue. The stablest revenue that we have is property tax, but kind of miraculously, or for whatever reason, actually for a lot of reasons, we have not raised taxes in a good long time. And maybe we don't need to, because as it is right now, of our total budget, so I have it right here, the general fund budget, property tax is 6% of it. So that's 6 pennies on the dollar is all the property taxes are going towards. On my house, and I looked at several different houses around the county and within the city, and it's like the average property tax that goes to the city from each of us, my house happens to be $97 for the whole year. Most houses are somewhere around 100, so it's an average of about 100. Harrisville and Pleasant View, their average is 300 to 350 that goes towards their city. So our property taxes that go towards the city is very low. But I'm going to say I'm not in favor of raising taxes because it would be basically almost impossible. In order to get caught up with that, we would have to raise our taxes 300% in order to get anywhere near what, and that's just a percentage wise, but the total taxes that we actually get from property tax, imagine this, $362 or $362,491 for the whole year. That's what we get out of property tax, out of and this is just the general budget, a $6 million budget.
Time.
Am I done?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
You're finished. we still love you, but your time's up. So
Okay.
All right.
But no, I don't approve.
Okay.
Want to raise taxes.
There we go. Make sure I've got the right order here. So, Mr. Pippin,
Yes.
question is, does the city have a communication specialist, and would you support one?
A communication specialist and support one. We actually recently hired, her name is Angie Horn. She, not only does she do the senior center, but we found that she has lots of other, we call it a Swiss Angie knife because she does so many different good things. And she is very sharp. She used to be the director at the dinosaur park. So she knows a lot of things. She's actually been taking over. If you're seeing more things out there on community engagement, it's because of Angie. She's really getting after it. Like even the picture that picture right there, she created that just as an example. She is very versatile. She's very out there, and she asks some pretty tough questions. I was going to do something. She goes, "Do you really want to do that, Mayor? What about this, this, and this?" I'm like, you know what? Thank you for asking. No, I don't want to do that. So she is versatile in so many ways. Yes, we have a communication person, and I think she's knocking it out of the park. Is there more to do? More to do? More to go? Yes, absolutely. But it's a good start.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Bolos?
Do we have one? I guess we do. Yes, and I would support one. Sounds like she's awesome, does a great job. And of course, I think that helps to provide at some level, Mayor, maybe a sense of transparency to the city as well. If someone else is in charge of handling the communications and getting those out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go with,
Are these handwritten from the audience now?
I know we gotta look at our notes. If not,
that one was. So
that was a good one.
some of the others are very similar to what have already been asked. So we're just trying to mesh these in. With the significant growth in Far West, this goes to you, Mr. Bolos, first. What are the plans in play to manage increased traffic, improve safety, and address speeding concerns? And with that, well, let's just go with that. We'll follow up with the other one.
Will you restate that? I didn't.
Yes, I will restate that. Thank you. I was a little wishy-washy. With the significant growth in Far West, especially with the growth on the S-curve and potentially Far West Landing and surrounding developments, what are plans in play to manage the increasing traffic, improve safety, and address speeding concerns?
Well, I have a good answer for this somewhere. I don't know where I wrote it.
From your heart.
Maybe I'll just share some of this. So I've received quite a bit of feedback as I've campaigned. And again, that's one of the main issues. If I could name, I think we've said two of them already. The top three issues in the city is development, continued development, and then the infrastructure concerns with the city. But I guess I would say that the 2700 interchange specifically, that's part of the question. I mentioned that I talked to and met with Darren, and again, and I mentioned that earlier because he mentioned how important it is that we should be actively engaged with UDOT on an actively basis to handle that infrastructure and some of those issues. I also met with Matt Gwynn about a month and a half ago. He's our state rep here in Far West, lives here. And he had mentioned to me that any approved project or any enhancement or improvements on some of this infrastructure, even if it was approved by UDOT, would take 3 to 5 years minimum to get into the works. Well, Darren told me when I talked to him, he said, I would go with 5 years because there's all kinds of projects and things that are being done today. But ultimately, I believe that's part of our responsibility is to work with those regions, work with the Weber County, the WFRC, the council, the critical needs, the funding. Ryan Halverson, I know, is our rep here and a great contact to work with. But getting those things on the schedule and having those talked about, I've said it, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Being the squeaky wheel so that we can help move those things along and really being that prod that gets us on that list. Because according to, come on, I got more to say. I was just getting warmed up on that one.
Same comment to you as we gave to Mr. Pippin a few minutes ago. We love you, but your time's up. So,
Traffic, and speeding, especially, I guess we're focusing on 2700 North. One thing about 2700 North, I think everybody knows, it's not Far West City, but it sure affects us. It's a UDOT road, and so we have to work with UDOT. And yes, we do meet with UDOT at least quarterly, but we also meet with them more often than that as we need to. So right now, we're currently working with them on we're on the list and wanting to get, so a light, we've been working with them on 4000 North where we're going to put in a light where that's going to connect down there by Smith and Edwards and 4000 North. As that gets improved, we got to finish phase 2 as we're coming over the canal. The next place where a light is warranted, I'm going to say, is at the end of 3300. 2575 West on 2700 also warrants a light in my opinion. So that's where we'd like to put a light. We got to work through those things. Right now, apparently, the S-curve has decided they want to put in a light where they are, and it's kind of like, and I ask them, does that trump ours? And they're like, no, because they're far enough apart, it won't trump ours. But of course, as Dave was saying, these things take a while to get into place. The other place that a light's going to be is down by the fire station, where this development's going in. You got to be able to get, and for sure, you got to get the fire trucks out on the road. So those are some of the main things we're doing there. We're also working with UDOT to expand 2700 North in order make it wider for some capacity. Because what's happening on 2700 North is not what's happening in Far West. What's happening in Pleasant View, North Ogden, Plain City. We haven't put anything on the road to increase traffic. It's the other cities that are engulfing us. And then, of course, we have the interchange because the freeway is ours. We do have Avenue Consulting, not us, but UDOT has Avenue Consulting. They're redesigning the interchange. They're looking into how to redesign the interchange there at 2700 North and I-15. So all of those things are in play. We do meet with them often. We talk with them all the time. They know me more than they want to. Thank you.
thank you. All right. How will Far West remain safe as it continues to grow? And what are ways you can feel we can improve parks, recreation, and community spaces? That goes to you, Mr. Whitman.
Goes to me. Well, I think everybody knows I'm a big proponent of parks and trails. I think that's what really makes a community is when you have open space, you have parks, you have trails and bike lanes and all that connect all of that so that we can live and exist and have quality of life within our community. That's what we want to do. I actually kind of want to make it to where we really don't want to leave because it's kind of nasty out there. You get down towards, Riverdale and Layton and all that. It's like, we don't need to go there. We can just stay here if we have enough of the things we want here. open space, trails, all of that. Another way to help keep things safe, there's a thing called VIPS. It's Volunteers in Police Service. That's where people can actually volunteer not to be a cop, but to support the cops. So you can do patrols and things like that. You actually get driving around in a truck with lights on it, and you have a radio so you can get to dispatch. So if you see somebody's garage open, or if you see some nefarious things of kids doing something in a park or whatever, you can actually get a hold of somebody, because there's no way that the sheriff's department can be everywhere. They're just not going to be able to do that. So that's an assistance type of thing. I got one more minute. So yeah, we can also self-patrol ourselves. We can do neighborhood watch. There's a lot of things we can do as a community to make our community safer, whether it's in the parks, whether it's on the streets. And when it comes to speeding in our communities, why don't we all just abide by the speed limit and slow down? It's that easy. I mean, we're working on things like traffic calming and all those kinds of things, but it really comes down to really the only traffic calming you need is to read that sign and go, I shouldn't go faster than what that reads. It's actually that easy. So let's do that. It's cheaper. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bowles,
My turn?
your turn.
So on this one, I have a little bit of insight. I met with Sheriff Arbonne a couple weeks ago. I sat in his office for about an hour, which was a great learning experience for me to understand the services they provide to the city, the safety that they provide. I want to make sure I lead with this, because I came away with this wonderful impression. The Weber County Sheriff's Office, they're absolutely awesome. And the services that they provide with really limited budget funds and underfunded, the things that they work incredibly hard to keep us safe and to do a lot of good things. So I think Sheriff's doing a great job. But he talked about a couple of solutions that I took away from that discussion, specifically about the issues that residents have raised while I've been campaigning. The speeding, the running of stop signs, we've heard that in our messaging a little bit. The kids racing up and down. Although I want to make sure I'm not a proponent of kicking those kids off the scooters and the bikes. I want to let kids be kids in Far West and let them have some fun. But Sheriff shared with me this, and I thought this was interesting. He said there is a strategy that we could adopt where we could look at maybe visibility locations or spot locations. And you pay for that, but you don't increase your law enforcement budget, but you give an opportunity. If you have an area or location where there's a lot of speeding occurring, or where there's a lot of running of stop signs, you can position extra deputies in those locations for an extra fee for, let's say, 3 months. And you course correct that behavior, and over time that stops that, because then they get, you pull a few people over, especially if they're repeat offenders, that purifies that behavior. And that was a great idea I thought that he had. I had never considered that. So things like that I think we can be proactive so that we're not forced to be reactive.
Perfect.
Can I get 30 seconds?
Can you get 30 seconds?
Yeah.
No. Why?
No, I just wanted to add, we have a traffic safety committee that are looking into these types of things. We're actually looking at purchasing one of those feedback.
You're out of order.
I thought you said.
I've been wanting to say that for 4 years, Mayor.
There's no rebuttal process in this.
I was adding to this.
Thank you. We do have.
But since he was agreeing with me, I'll take it.
We do have a committee.
We have something in place to help do this. We can focus them in the right place.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was just trying to be funny. Okay. Yeah.
You're the moderator.
Okay.
Moderate.
This goes to you, Mr. Let's see.
I think it's Fippen on this one.
You were the last one, right? You were the last one.
Is it me or Ken?
It's you,
Okay.
I think.
Is this a written question?
Maybe. Maybe a mix. What is your long-term vision of the city? And what is something specific that you would like to do as mayor to improve this city?
Yeah, I need my notes on that one because I had a really good one.
From your heart.
I might have to go from my heart on this. And this comes with great feedback from the residents. Many, in fact, probably many here have echoed it. The aesthetics of our city, the look and feel, this isn't an urgent need. I wouldn't say this is a top two or three thing like we've talked about. But the aesthetics of our city, you drive up and down 2000 West, it's like the breadbasket of Far West. It's what everyone sees when they first come to Far West. And if you think about other areas of the state, I've been in like Vernal and maybe little small towns, and you drop down into the community and it's filled with flower pots and light posts. And I'm not suggesting 2000 becomes that. But when you go up and down 2000, what does it look like to you? Just think about that for a minute. There's a lot of, I'll use the mayor's word, junk in those areas. And I think we can adopt a process in the city. I've thought a lot about that. I've got a lot of input from, again, people that are much smarter than me about adopting maybe a plan or a process that's similar to the My Hometown initiative that works really well in Ogden, but at the city level with us. And it starts with the community, starts with the community leaders, how we can incentivize businesses and homeowners to improve their yards, improve the look and feel, their curb appeal. What can we do to create maybe incentives such as yard of the month or whatever that might look like? I know that sounds silly, but it's real, and people will pay attention to it, especially if we lead as a city in that effort to really try to clean up the look and feel. I think that would be a fun project. I don't think that's the main, a top high priority concern, but it would be a fun project to tackle, and I would love to try to do that.
Thank you.
Okay, I totally agree, because I've been in the area for a good long time, and one thing that I always noticed, I used to live in South Willard, and actually I call it, the garbage gateway, because, it would start in South Willard and you come up over the overpass, and then there's Smith and Edwards. Give them credit, they have cleaned that up a lot compared to what it was. So we're well on our way to improving that. But as you go along, it's still kind of like that, pretty industrial and machinery and all sorts of things, almost all the way to 2700. After that, you kind of get into semi-residential stuff. But we've also allowed way too much businesses or even wannabe businesses along that stretch that just kind of put their construction businesses. They're not attractive. They're fences. They're, all of those kinds of things. It'd be better to have that more attractive type of thing. So like, for instance, right out here at 1800, I kind of like the idea of maybe we start from there and move out. We have the nice big red brick thing. We have the Night Center over there. Maybe that area kind of becomes a downtown, and you take that aesthetic and start spreading it, going in each direction. You're not going to be able to do the whole thing, but you can definitely start somewhere. And you can do that through your planning. You can have certain zones that allow that, and you can improve how your city feels and looks and all of those kinds of things.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's both of you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I have one last question, and then I'm going to do something. I'm just going to open it up for just a couple of minutes if there's somebody that wants to ask a question from the audience. But that question needs to be respectful, and it needs to be able to pertain to both the candidates. So Dave, if you'd wheel that back in after this next question, and then we'll just take just less than 5 minutes, we'd do that. I'm doing that against my better judgment, so be kind.
It's part of trust, boy.
It's trust.
Trust
I'm trusting. So, okay. What have you learned about your opponent during this process that is positive? Let's start with you, Ken.
That's a nice thing, Ken. You got to say something nice.
I do? No, I have nothing nice nothing but nice to say. Is this to me first?
Yeah, you first.
Okay, one thing I have learned about my opponent, Dave, he is definitely going after, he's persistent. That's what it is. He's very persistent. And I hadn't had an opportunity to work with or get to know him until I first met him when he declared his candidacy, which I think is unfortunate. I think he could have, been a part of things a lot longer, and we probably get along a lot better, and we probably have a lot more commonality in things than I think a lot of people think that we have. I think we have a lot more commonality than differences. I think that's always true between candidates. It's a matter of, but when you're going after a job, you kind of have to feel like you got to somehow put them down. And I have decided not to go that way at all. That's not who I am. I will never do that. But I will give him creds for, I'm glad he stepped up. I asked for an opponent, and I got one. So, if I got an opponent and if I lose my job, it's my own fault. Thank you.
So I've learned that the mayor is genuine. He's been, this has been a fun process. We've had, and regardless of what people think online, and we've had some great conversations and we've shared texts, and it's been good to get to know him that way. I do believe he loves his country. He's an upstanding citizen. He truly cares. He does care about Far West. I believe that. I have to say his beard is very popular as I've been campaigning. Many people love his beard. And maybe someday, right?
There's wisdom in that.
But in all seriousness, throughout the process, he's been a great opponent for me. I've learned he's conducted himself as a professional, and I respect that. This experience for me has been a positive. I believe it's helped me grow, and it's helped me become better. It's helped me become better because I've been able to listen and get to know people, not just as a candidate. But I respect his years of service. I'm grateful for the campaign. It's mainly been focused on ideas and a path and our differences. We've been able to highlight that without attacking each other for the most part, and I commend him for that. I look forward to getting to know him more and hopefully working with him.
Thank you. Well done. All right. Now, is there anybody would like to ask a question? If you just raise your hand. Okay, Ted, we'll start with you. So as soon as that pulpit comes in here.
They're bringing the pulpit back in.
Yeah.
Well, the online needs to be able to hear him.
You can do that.
How many hours per week do you have available or plan on spending on being mayor?
Okay, that would go to Dave, Mr. Bullis first.
Me first? Yeah, so if you looked at my campaign, my website a little bit, I've explained a little bit about my career and do we still get 3 minutes, Boyd?
Yeah, after, yeah.
Okay. My background, prior to, I had a corporate career where I was the vice president of operations in Salt Lake. I spent about 12 hours a day there. That all changed about 3 years ago. I was laid off, and I've spoken about that and how that's changed me and my perspective, and it's given me a great opportunity to pivot and become self-employed. So I now have a real estate broker's license in almost 30 states, which gives me flexibility to leverage those licenses without managing people or transactions. So as far as time, your direct question is how much time do I have? I have as much time as the job would require. Yeah, I'm not obligated to any specific employer or obligation.
Okay, when I first became mayor, I was still working full-time at the rocket factory. That was a challenge because I still had to put in my time. I was working 10-hour days. I did have flexibility, so I'd actually come to the office quite often, do what I need to do, then go back home. I was working from home because I'm in software, and so that I was able to do the flexibility, but it was basically all day, all night type of thing. I then went to halftime, and it was still quite a bit for me. I was in a position where I had my house paid off and all that, so I was able to, a year or so ago, I was able to retire. So now this is my job. So whatever time I need, I have to do it, and I'm here to do what I need to do as the job of mayor. I have no other obligations whatsoever other than to my family, but they're very supportive of me, and they let me do this because they know how much I love doing this, and I love serving the residents of Far West.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Just state your name and
There's a little button on there when it goes green.
yeah, push the button so it goes green. Sorry, there we go.
Okay.
Hi, Mr. Pippin, Mr. Bolos, Mr. Farron. My question for you guys is how do you view the future of agriculture within Far West?
Good question.
Does that exist still in Far West? I'm just joking.
So this would go to you first.
Okay. The future of agriculture, I think, is very important. We need to preserve it as much as possible. Unfortunately, some of what's left of the agriculture, it's really up to the owners of the agricultural properties, right, to maintain those and keep those alive. And I know it's a tough world out there. We were actually in a meeting earlier today. It was a development meeting, and it was something I was so supportive of. Do a lot of people know where the outdoor garden is? Okay, well, they want to do something else that's an outdoor something else, but it's basically on that same property. And I am totally in support of being able to maintain that. They want to be able to grow their stuff. They want to be able to have animals. I can't go into the details of it because I don't remember all of the details of it, but they're proposing some really good things. In order to preserve that, it's more agricultural. That's their heritage. That's what they want to keep, because the alternative is they could turn it all into housing. I would prefer, goats and donkeys and cows and plants over townhomes and apartments and anything else. That would be my preference. This is where we live. We love it when, like, anytime you get the smell, whether it comes from Chugs or from Pappy's or wherever it is, it's kind of like, Far West. Here we are. Thank you.
I like that. That's hard to beat, that answer. So, I grew up on a pig farm growing up. So my wife will tell you every time we pass a pig farm or a cattle farm, it brings up great memories for me, and I love the smell of it. So when they're spreading the manure in the fields, I love that. I love driving by it. I love smelling it. As far as the future, I guess that would maybe to just answer the question in a direct way. I guess that largely depends upon the landowner, the owner of the farm, and who's managing it, and the resources available to manage it. Of course, the resources have to be available to continue to do that. There has to be, I guess, family and children and associations that are willing to manage that. A lot of farms have turned in time. No, a lot of farms have turned into homes as a result of maybe the posterity or the children not wanting to farm. But whatever we could do as a city to help preserve that, to help protect it, through what the mayor mentioned, absolutely. The more farms, the better for me. That brings me back home.
Thank you, both of you. I'm going to allow one more question, and then we're going to, okay.
I want to know what kind of businesses you want to add to our community, like restaurants or whatever. We don't want a lot of them. We don't want Riverdale Road in our community, but do we want more businesses to help with some of the revenue? And what kind of things do you want, like restaurants and that kind of thing?
Okay.
Is it me first?
Yep.
Is it? Whatever ones make us the most money. So, commercial, the retail, the sales tax revenue, those that drive revenue for our budgets without having to tax residents or raise without the threat of that. We certainly want to be a proponent and an area that's viewed that way, that we're inviting, and that we're working with existing businesses too in an effort to communicate that. I've spoken with a few business owners. I know several of them personally, and they've shared that vision with me and how important that is to partner with our existing companies, our existing businesses in an effort to drive new opportunities and new interest into Far West. Far West will be perceived only as much as we are inviting to have them come, and I would try to do that. As far as which types, like specific, like Texas Roadhouse versus Olive Garden. I mean, I don't know. Mayor might have more information about that, but I'm a big supporter of businesses, and one of the things I would work to do as a mayor is to know every business owner in our city and be in their business and meet them and talk to them, and how can I be a help and a support to them in our community.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go back and talk a little bit about, everybody likes to talk about the landing. Okay, the landing has not landed yet. We don't have it, but there's some opportunities there that could be exciting if we choose that that's what we want to do. So some of the stuff that can go in there, specifically to restaurants and stuff. So along the frontage road, a lot of them that I'm going to go ahead and say some names of things that I've seen because, I can, and I'm going to. Some of it, so Olive Garden is one of them that is hoping to come in, that proposed to come in. Is it Longhorn? Steakhouse, so that's another one. In and Out is another one. Starbucks, of course. Everybody needs a Starbucks. Those are at least the restaurants. Some of the other things that are revenue generators that can come into a development like that are things like Sprouts and Target and some other things. Those are all things that can generate us some revenue to bring, and it's all on the other side of the freeway, so it's in nobody's backyard except Pleasant View's and their mobile home park and then in their industrial park. So it's going to be minimal impact to the rest of us when it comes to traffic and all that, because as we said, the other thing that whole development's going to do for us is UDOT is planning on putting a median down the middle of 2700 between all the lights. So that means like everybody trying to pull into Maverick or McDonald's or anything as you're going east, that's going to be very difficult to do. But if we have a road that wraps around there, which is part of this, you'll be able to go to the light and come into those from the backside and get in and out of there safer. And that's what we want to do. And then those semis that like to turn left when they're not supposed to, they're going to have to go to a light and around through Rulon or wherever we can make a connection with a light. So that's to make things safer, to generate revenue, and to give us good places. Because I'm really tired of going to Ogden and Riverdale to go eat. I really just want to stick close.
Okay, thank you. All right, we are going to have 3 minutes from each of them to close. We started with Mr. Bolos. We'll end with Mr. Phippen. So you up first with your 3 minutes.
I'm first? Great. Thanks again, Boyd. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor. Thanks everyone for being out here and making this an important part of your night. I'm running for mayor from Farr West because I believe the way we lead impacts the way we live. One of the most important things we can do for each other is to listen. And I've learned that more than ever on this campaign. We truly listen to those. When we do that, and we show that compassion, we show them that we care. Serving others has always been a profound source of personal strength for me. Whether I'm coaching, teaching, supporting, fellowshipping, worshiping, or lifting those around me, each act of service deepens my sense of connection. In giving, I receive strength, and in helping, I help others grow too, and I learn in that process. My family, my country, my faith, and our city. Serving others has always been at the heart of my life, and I believe more people should have a place at the table, not fewer. I'm strengthened by the love and support of my family, and I find purpose in serving with them. My why is simple. I'm excited to run for mayor. I have no hidden agendas, no obligations. I'm excited to roll up my sleeves, but if I only wanted to do that, I would have ran for city council and planning commission. Those words have been tried to twist against me. That is not a knock on them. Our city council and planning commission do a brunt of the work in our city, and I'm grateful for them. But I'm running for mayor largely because I want to work with them and use my voice for good, and I think a mayor has an opportunity to do that. I believe strongly that our community deserved a choice when I learned that the mayor was running unopposed. I don't believe public service should be treated as a mere stepping stone or formality or automatically positioned for promotion due to years of service in a particular city. It should always be open, a good faith process that gives voters the opportunity to decide. We should get to decide that in a democracy, not by default. My why is about using my voice to strengthen connections with people, with business leaders, with the many skilled residents in our city who aren't yet involved, and building bridges of transparency, unity, and connection. I bring a fresh face and a fresh voice to city government. I will lead with visibility, service, and listening. As mayor, you have the responsibility to be visible, to be sociable, and to be approachable. And I will do all three of those. I will be open with every representative, just like I've been in my campaign. Let's open our discussions. Let's open our files. Let's open our transparency. Let's allow more people to the table and allow the residents to see and hear and understand what's going on and have a voice. I will propose that. I will promote it, and I will work hard to work on that in the city. My faith in God continues to guide my campaign, win or lose. I will look to Him to guide my service to our community in everything that I do. I rely on His wisdom and strength. I want to continue to respect our past. Thank you. It's been an honor.
You looked away on purpose. Huh?
I tried to use one of your tricks, but
It's been used a lot. So, do I start now? Now, okay. First of all, I want to thank Boyd Farron. One of the first decisions I made as mayor was to pick him as my assistant mayor. And he was also Lee's assistant mayor, and I believe that continuity was critical into the success of our experience. So, thank you, Boyd.
Thank you.
Second, I thank Dave Bolos for throwing his hat in the ring. I've always believed that choices are important and it shouldn't be easy for anybody. And trust me, being mayor isn't all ribbons and root beers. There's a lot of hard work that goes on. It's a commitment that I've taken seriously, even though I do add humor, something I've learned from a good friend of mine and mentor, Rob Bishop. So after my reelection, I will encourage Dave Bolos to join the Planning Commission and run for City Council, and then take another run for mayor when he's got the experience and is really ready. And finally, I thank each of you and every one of you for whether you support me or not. You took the time to show up, and that speaks volumes. I've rolled up my sleeves every day for the residents of Far West, and will continue with your blessing and, of course, your vote. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to, first of all, compliment the audience on your demeanor tonight and your respect that was shown. Thank you. Want to say thank you to these two gentlemen. These two are both my friends. And so with that, it's been an emotional month, so sorry. Anyway, we are in good hands. We are in good hands in the city. We are in good hands with our planning commission. We are in good hands with our city council. And so thank you for being here and being part of this tonight. And with that said, we are through for the evening. Have a good night.
thanks, Boyd.
And if anybody has any more questions, I'll stay right here as long as you want me to, if you have any questions. No, not at all.